Hello, good morning, dear clients. I introduce myself for those who do not know me. My name is Monica Duque, CCA Product Manager at Licencias Online. Thank you all for attending for your time. With me is Alonso Fallas, who will be presenting the webinar of Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud Security. Thank you very much, and Alonso, you can start now. Thank you all.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Monica, and thank you for all of the partners here present. My name is Alonso Fallas. As Monica said, my position here is I'm a pre-sales engineer at Licencias Online, specifically for Kaspersky Solutions. So today specifically, we're gonna cover Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud Security. Um, Kaspersky has a very broad range of products and services. However, today specifically, we're going to discuss about how to protect hybrid cloud environments, which is very important, very relevant nowadays, given the current environment that we're living in. A lot of companies are either migrating to the cloud or at least have some workloads in the cloud, some backups. So we're going to discuss this in detail today. So what's today's challenge? So as I was mentioning, nowadays, a lot of people have had considered moving to the cloud, right? Some of our clients have fully migrated to the cloud, taking advantage of the operational reduction in the expenses, also the higher capacity that they have to develop different workloads in the cloud, in the public cloud. However, there are two sides of the story when we encounter an environment that has been migrated to the cloud completely or partially, right? So, in one hand, these initiatives may have provided advantages like having greater efficiency, being able to connect remotely to any of the resources because they're in the cloud, right? You don't need to be physically at a specific data center to have access to the resources. You can do that remotely from anywhere, basically. That's a good side of it, right? But on the other hand, the complexity of the infrastructure it becomes a problem, right? There's a misconception in terms of security. It doesn't happen to all clients, but it does happen that when they migrate to the cloud, meaning partially or fully to the cloud, people might consider that security is no longer an issue, or the security of the workloads is on Microsoft's hands or on Amazon WS hands. And
Alonso,
yes,
excuse me, but the client says that it sounds bad, very bad. The sound is like a double or something, like an echo.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. Let me go back and change my headphones real quick.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes, Alonso.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And thank you so much for letting me know. So, and please interrupt if we have a bad connection or you cannot hear me very well. So, as I was saying, today's challenge, and I'm gonna go back to the beginning. Today's challenge, it's very complex infrastructure. There's a lot of clients that have either moved completely to the cloud or moved partially, right? And when that happens, the infrastructure becomes more complex. And there's a misconception that not everybody falls under this, but there's a lot of people who considers that when you're moving to the cloud, the security is no longer your issue. And that couldn't be more far from the truth, because people might think, okay, so if I'm hosting my infrastructure in Microsoft Azure, now the security is Microsoft problem, and that is not true at all, right? So when you design the architecture of a solution in the cloud, you need to have the same um, concepts in mind. So let's say you need a VPN to have a secure connection, don't have a public IP address fully exposed to the internet, because that might be a potential threat or an exploitation that a hacker might be able to um, take advantage of. So when we're dealing with hybrid infrastructure, we have, on the one hand, these initiatives provide many advantages for businesses. One of them, it's having a greater efficiency. The members of an organization might be able to connect remotely to various resources. There's no need to be physically at the data center for you to have access to certain resources. So that's a good thing, right? Being able and having the capacity to access various workloads and resources from anywhere, right? But on the other hand, this type of environments make the infrastructure of an organization more complex, okay? Because let's say, for example, someone has a hybrid environment, and by hybrid, you could mean the fact that it's some resources on premises, some resources in the cloud. Also could be the fact that you have a multi-cloud environment. So you might have some resources in AWS, some others in Azure or Google Cloud, and becomes very challenging being able to protect all of those resources with different scenarios, right? Some physical environments, some hybrid environments, some desktop as a services, and we're gonna see more in detail about the different environments that we could cover. However, this is basically the challenge that we're living in today. So also, when we add more resources and more features, more software, all of that software needs to be covered, right? So if we add a new tool into our environment, that might increase the productivity, but it's another vector that a malicious actor could be taken advantage of. So here are some of the top cloud challenges, right? That most of the organizations, they mentioned this, one of them, my top challenges, right? One of them, it's security. That's a major concern. Of course, 81% of the organizations surveyed, they mentioned security as their top challenge, right? Right below that, managing cloud spend, right? So you know that when you have some resources in the cloud, um, one of the challenges is being able to stay within your budget, right? So being having stuff in the cloud, when you have the capacity to upscale and also have the flexibility to have more resources or a bigger virtual machine, for example. If you take that decision, that would have a considerable impact in the budget or on the basically on the bill at the end of the month, coming from either Microsoft Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, right? In terms of governance and compliance, that's also a major concern for most of our organizations. Also managing multi-cloud with the 72% and cloud migration. You might know that it's kind of a hazard to change or switch from having on-premise environments to having everything in the cloud, all right? So with that being said, so we have major challenges when it comes to handling infrastructure in the cloud, and we have multiple layers of challenges, right? So this multiple layer challenge requires a multiple layer solution as well. So right here in this diagram, we can see how Kaspersky hybrid cloud security can be used for multiple environments. So meaning in one console, you can protect the public cloud, right? Meaning um, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. You can also protect the security of virtualization environments like Citrix or VMware, right? Also, Docker containers from Microsoft. If you have workloads running on containers, you can protect that without a problem. Physical and virtual machines. And the main goal is the simplicity of its integration, right? So we have the capacity to integrate via APIs with most vendors. And the idea of the simplicity also, um, we have that with the fact that we have just one console from which we can manage and protect all of the workloads, meaning the containers, the public cloud, the physical and virtual machines, and also the desktop as a service solutions. Okay. Um, this is a cloud-based solution, meaning that you can access it from a web browser. Okay, so it's a cloud-native solution, and the solution supports VMware, like we said, NSX, Microsoft Hyper-V, Citrix Hypervisor, KVM, Huawei, Proxmox, and many, many more, right? So when we talk about a hybrid cloud solution, one of the main features that we want to look at is the fact that it's flexible, right? And that's one of the most um, or the greatest differentiators from Kaspersky. We constantly um, adapt to the environment, right? We when we're looking for a solution like this, we don't want a solution that we need to adapt to it. Should be the other way around. The solution should be adapted to a hybrid environment like this. Some of the key features of Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud are protection for Linux and Windows servers, right? That's very important. Also, application control and exploit prevention. And besides that, we have a multi-layer protection from ransomware attacks, which is very important, and also vulnerability assessment and patch management. So that helps us with reducing the attack surface and avoid a potential exploit. Okay, please let us know in the chat if you have any questions so far. If not, we're gonna continue. Okay, so one of the challenges that we were mentioning before was the migration part, and some very important to keep in mind is the fact that Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud Security makes cloud adoption, digital transformation, and doing business in general safer and more efficient. So that's something that we need to keep in mind when we're acquiring a solution for protecting our hybrid infrastructure. We need something that it's simple, um, it's flexible as well, and it has a simple integration. And besides that, the fact that it um, adapts very flexibly, that's very important as well. The cloud native approach, and when it comes to the cloud native approach, we have a multi-layered threat protection, right? With machine learning algorithms that it helps it helps us to have a higher detection level in real-time threat intelligence. So by having this solution, you can take advantage of the threat intelligence database from Kaspersky. So as you may know, Kaspersky has its own SOC, right? And in a few slides forward, we're going to discuss that in more detail. But something very important that we need to keep in mind is that by having this solution in place, right, we're taking advantage of the database that comes from Kaspersky, that it's constantly detecting um, new emerging threats, right? And also the database of already known threats, right? So by having access to this technology, you're making sure that any known threat, the solution is going to detect it. And if there's a new emerging threat, that's going to get updated with the signatures from Kaspersky SOC, right? The cloud native approach is very important because the cybersecurity engine from Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud, it protects physical, virtualized, private, or public or hybrid cloud environments, right? So as I mentioned before, no matter what the environment is, either physical, virtualized, private, public, or hybrid, it can be protected with Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud Security. Okay, for the efficiency part, Kaspersky has a very flexible licensing model that we can view in more detail later. But the idea is that you paid for only the features that you need, right? We have um, it's a two type of licensing, right? But based on the requirements of the environment, you're gonna pay exactly what you're using and not more than that. And compliance ready security, you can enforce compliance on a regular basis through the Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud portal. This by um, evaluating the security posture, doing vulnerability assessment, and automated patch management. So that's very important for you to reduce the surface of attack of your environment. And in that way, of course, you're going to get less events or alerts during your or in your console. Okay, right here we can see most of the features when it comes to multi-layer protection, right? So we have global threat intelligence. That's what I was mentioning about having access to the Kaspersky threat intelligence database, right? So with by doing that, you're having access to the most updated database. Sorry, the most updated database with information about known threats and new emerging threats, right? We have a machine learning algorithm and human expertise that helps us detect not only a new threat, so a new threat or emerging threat, but also some suspicious behavior and within the network. Web and email threat protection, log inspection, and behavior analysis. These are some of the features that you can take advantage of. Also, the remediation engine, which rolls back any malicious changes inside the CloudForce, and also exploit prevention, which through the vulnerability management console, you can avoid getting exploited for a vector that could be easily remediated, right? Anti-ransomware functionality, sorry, it protects you from any of your hard drives or your infrastructure to be encrypted, right? And if it does happen, it has the capacity to roll back and unencrypt the information. Also, network protection, right? Which detects and prevents network-based instructions. At the network level, we're gonna be ingesting logs from various resources like the firewall, right? And in that way, we can detect any malicious activity within the network itself. And lastly, container protection. Like we mentioned, we can protect uh, various containers from either Docker container or Windows Server 2016. Okay, so when it comes to system hardening, we have various other resources or sorry, features like application control, device control, and web control. So this helps us regulate whatever comes in into our network, right? Also host-based intrusion prevention, which helps us basically restricting the access of critical resources and limiting their capabilities. File integrity monitor to validate the integrity or um, the state of a single file, and we can do this on demand. This is going to detect and scan our infrastructure, but also we can scan a specific file that we want to make sure that its code hasn't been modified. And lastly, vulnerability assessment and patch management. This we can do this entirely from the same console. Let's remember that we have the same console for everything, to configuration, to protecting Docker containers, to protecting the various cloud solutions. And from here as well, we can um, evaluate the security posture of the organization, do a vulnerability assessment, which is very, very important when in terms of cybersecurity, to understand what the state of your infrastructure is. And from there, doing an automated patch management to remediate those possible vulnerabilities. Okay. When it comes to extended visibility, we have this called borderless visibility. So let's say you have a CM like CrowdStrike or Exabeam. Well, Kaspersky has its own solutions for this, but we don't encourage anybody to switch from their provider to any of ours, right? On the other hand, we integrate with whatever solution you may have in your environment, like a CrowdStrike CM or whatever, and from there, we can ingest the data and act on it, right? So the idea is to extend the visibility of the CM with Kaspersky Threat Intelligence. We use those logs to detect and remediate, and that's the whole point, right? Kaspersky is a solution that integrates very well with um, any environment, and the idea is not to switch everything to Kaspersky. On the opposite, we want to integrate with the environment that you currently have. Okay, something very important that you need to consider is that by having a hybrid cloud security like Kaspersky, which is a cloud-based solution, you could save up to 30% in hardware costs compared to having a traditional endpoint security solution. So let's say you have a couple of physical servers, you have some virtual machines, and you want to have, like, for instance, Microsoft Defender to protect that environment. You will need to have Defender for server to protect the servers. Then you would need to have Defender for cloud to protect the cloud environment or the cloud resources. And besides that, if you want to protect an application, you would need Defender for cloud apps. That's just an example with a specific vendor, right? On the other hand, with Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud, you would need just one console, right? No hardware required, right? And with that same license, you can protect all of them. So that would make sense for an organization that wants to save a little bit of money and save a little bit of time as well, because you would need to just manage one console, not three different, right? On the right side, we have the top three link. This is basically a link on which we can demonstrate. And Monica, if you could copy this link and provide it through the chat so they can have it handy, but we're gonna open it right here.
Okay, Alonso.
Thank you. So this is a public website. You guys can visit it at any time. And basically, it has to do with all the reviews or different audits and tests that Kaspersky takes every single year. And right here, you can see that it's accumulated over the years. You can check how we did on 2020. You can check how we did on 2016. And that's the idea, right? Well, we're a very transparent organization. Like you see right here, we have a lot of different independent tests, right, from independent organizations. And we've been on the first position 587 times, right? And we participated in 827 tests. So we're the vendor that does the most tests, and we do better than anybody. You can check here some of the competitors, and you can check this on a regular basis, right? You can check the report by year, and you can download the report so you can view more details how we did, because it's important to see how we were evaluated, right? Okay, so as you can see right here, Kaspersky is being on the top three places 83% of the time versus Bitdefender, which has been 61% of the times, and so on. But it's very important for you to have that because some clients might ask, hey, and how is Kaspersky doing in Gartner or in Forrester? For some reason, Gartner is not evaluating Kaspersky, right? But we have a very transparent policy, and that's why we do independent reviews, and we post them here on a regular basis so you can have visibility of how we're doing. Um, this QR code right here, if you want, you can scan this. This is also part of the transparency policy of Kaspersky. This would take you to this transparency center, on which, as you can see, well, um, Kaspersky has its data hosted in Switzerland. As some of you may know, this is due to a transparency policy that they have. And we receive a lot of audits on a regular basis as well, like the SOC 2 audit conducted by an independent accounting firm. That should be somewhere around here. Okay, right here. And we also have the ISO 27001 certification. So this speaks very well of how we manage the data that we host in our data centers. So we take the security of the data very seriously. You can also review this website. If please let me know if the QR worked for you. If not, we can send you the link as well. Let me put it right here. Transparency Center. Okay. And here's the diagram of the one console that you would have, but you're getting multiple solutions in one, right? The idea is having just one license, one console, but you having the benefit or of protecting different infrastructure. So like you see right here, we can protect security for Windows Server, also for virtualization or agentless or light agent, right? Like Citrix, and Kaspersky endpoint security for Linux. So you're acquiring all of this in one product with one console and one license. Um, Also, on the right side, you can see that we have the unified security for any cloud, meaning Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure. Also for private data centers like VMware NSX, Microsoft Hyper-V, Citrix Send Server, KVM, or Proxmox. And for VDI environments, we can protect VMware Horizon or Citrix Zen Send desktops. And for physical servers, we can protect Windows and Linux. At the top of the screen, you have another QR code. Please let me know if that one works as well. If not, I can provide you with the link. This one is for you to get a 30-day free trial for Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud Security. The best way to know if a product works is by taking it for a test drive. Make sure the policies are simple enough and customizable enough, right, for you to be able to protect your infrastructure, right? So I encourage you to give it a try. It's a um, very complex but simple solution at the same time, because we're able to protect most of the hybrid infrastructure environments and workloads. And if while using it, you encounter any kind of um, question, or you have some doubts or something that you want to know, you can reach either Monica or myself. Let me put my email address right there. Okay. So again, as I was saying, I encourage you to download it, give it a try. This might be a very good way for you to hook another client, right? Um, some of the clients, or a lot of clients, they already have their infrastructure in the cloud, like I mentioned, partially or fully, but they're not even protecting those workloads, right? Because again, like as mentioned before, some misconception about the people thinking that they don't need to protect a virtual machine or a Docker container, and that couldn't be more far from the truth. The idea is for you to take advantage of this free 30-day trial, give it to your clients, give it a quick test drive. If you need us to jump in a call with you so we can help you positioning the solution, uh, either this or any of the other Kaspersky solution, you can just let us know, hey, Alonso or Monica, we need some help. We have this client in this region. We need you to help us position the solution, or we need you to help us with a webinar or event. We can definitely help you out with that. And afterwards, if you need assistance designing the solution, the architecture of a certain solution that you're offering, we can jump in a call with your end customer as well to make sure that they understand how it works, that all of their questions are covered, and that we can understand fully the scenario of the client. Um, so that's it. I don't know if there's any question that you guys may have. If not, we can give you a few minutes back of your time. Like we mentioned, our email address is right there. You might not have questions right now, but after this session, you might find a client that has a cloud environment or a hybrid environment, and you want us to help you out with the um, design of the solution or knowing how much exactly is going to cost for them. Please let us know, and we'll be more than happy to assist. Okay, Monica, if you want, you can add your email in the chat so they can have your email as well.
Yes, Alonso, thank you very much for this webinar.
Thank you, and I really appreciate the time of all the people that joined us today. Please let us know as soon as you have a business opportunity with one of your clients. Let us know. Let us help you with the positioning of the solution, and also with provide you with the best price in the market, right? So don't hesitate if you encounter an issue or encounter a business opportunity around um, cybersecurity solutions specifically, or in general, or this one is specifically like Kaspersky Hybrid Cloud. Again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye. See you later.